Welcome back. In today's video we're talking about the Ibex and Ibex Pro from Mountain Equipment, arguably the best 3-season hiking, multi-day trekking, climbing and scrambling trouser we've ever seen. Okay, so to kick things off we have got the Ibex pant, a real staple within the outdoor industry, and I would have thought the majority of people have either seen a pair of these out on the hill or owned a pair in the past, whether it be this generation or a previous generation. It's been standing within the outdoors for a long time, and it's a real good go-to 2 to 3 season hiking trouser, especially for UK conditions. So the first thing just to chat about is the fact that it's using the Exo Light 210 fabric. So this is lighter than the Pro version we're going to look at a little bit later on, and gives it a really good balance of warmth, breathability, abrasion resistance, wind resistance, and a slight level of moisture resistance and water resistance as well. So the first thing to note about this fabric is it's a soft shell double weave fabric, so it's going to give you a level of warmth and protection from the elements. It's got a really good stretch to it, which means it's going to be really good for scrambling and more dynamic activities. So potentially could be a good sort of late spring, autumn, and early winter scrambling trouser. So you've got a really good range of movement. It's not going to be restrictive, and it's also extremely comfortable to wear for long periods of time. But it also would make a really good sort of colder end of the spectrum multi-day trekking trouser. It's incredibly comfortable and very soft against the skin. It's also incredibly abrasion resistant, so if you're using it in a slightly more adverse conditions or in a scrambling situation, you know that the fabric is less likely to get damaged. Moving away from that, we are also seeing a fluorocarbon-free DWR coating on the outside of the trouser, which is going to mean you can shrug off light rain and any sort of light water that might make its way onto the trouser. But they also dry very, very quickly thanks to the fabric as well, which is a really nice feature, especially if you're using them for a multi-day trekking trouser where you might not have the opportunity to hang them up and dry them in a warm place. So moving on, we have got a integrated belt in the top of the trousers. This runs within the waistband of the belt and is a sort of integral part of the trouser itself. It's a nice belt system. It's a really good one. It clips in really nicely and easily. You can tension that up nicely, and then we have got a belt loop on this side to help tuck the remainder of the strapping in if you need to cinch it up a bit further. You don't want this sort of flapping around annoying you during the day. It's worth noting that you can't use your own belt with this, although we have got one belt loop. There are none around the rest of the trouser, so it is either use this one or don't use one at all. Located behind this is a dual popper system and your standard zip fly. Coming around to the back of the trouser, you'll see that we've got our nice stretch fabric down the back, and we've also got a single zip pocket on the side of the trouser, perfect for anything you want to keep close by but you don't need quick and easy access to throughout the day. A good example could be a wallet or just an ID and a credit card if you'd like to take those out on the hill for a bit of peace of mind. Starting a bit higher again, we've got 2 YKK zip pockets on either side. Both are security pockets, which make them perfect for things like keys and your phone. You've got quick and easy access to them. We've got a slight zip garage at the top there, and the pocket itself is a full pocket, so it's not a mesh pocket like we've seen on some of the older models, which means it's slightly more durable and you can be a bit more trusting with some of your valuables in there as well. Making our way down, we are now met with 2 thigh pockets, one on either side. A good sized pocket, not big enough to fit an OS map in, but you could put your phone in there if you wanted it a little bit lower down, but things like snacks and stuff for your day, you don't want to keep going into your bag, this is the perfect location. This has got a mesh inner to it, which means that if you open this pocket up and leave it open, you've got a good source of ventilation into the trouser. So if you're wearing these on slightly warmer days, or potentially you've had a cold start, and now you're building up some good body temperature and good body heat, you can open the trouser and vent it really nicely. Moving further down the trouser, we're met by the next change for the 2025 model, and that is that they have slightly altered the fit of the Ibex pant. So we're seeing a slight change to the top. This is an alpine fit. And we're also seeing a slight change to the thighs and the knees, just to give you a slightly better fit overall. So it's a slightly more tapered fit. Because it's alpine, there's less sort of excess fabric that could cause snag hazards. And overall, a really nice fit, and definitely an improvement over the previous model. And then finally, making our way down to the bottom, we have got a locking zip. This was not a locking zip on the previous model, but now if it's in the downward position, it will move up. But once you flick it into the upward position, it locks into place, which just gives you a little bit more adjustability on the lower portion of the trouser. So if you only want the zip undone halfway. You can lock it in position, you know it's not going to go any further, but you've given yourself enough fabric to get it over the top of a chunky pair of winter boots, or just a chunky pair of mountain boots as well. And all this does is increase the lower leg volume overall, and it allows you to get it over slightly chunkier footwear. If you're using a pair of shoes or a pair of approach shoes, you can zip that all the way down, put it up into the lock position, and you've got a slightly slimmer cut around the bottom part of the leg, which just makes it a slightly nicer trouser to wear with a pair of shoes. But obviously you've got the versatility to then unzip that and wear it with a chunkier pair of boots as well. So overall, the Ibex is a awesome trouser that's been a bit of a staple within the outdoor industry for a number of years now. I've certainly had a few pairs of these. They've served me really well. In terms of who these might be good for, as we mentioned, anyone that's looking for a sort of 3-season scrambling trouser, multi-day trekking trouser, or even just a cold weather climbing trouser, this could potentially be a really good option for you. If you're looking at this trouser and you're thinking, that's almost there, but there's just a few things I'd like slightly bigger pockets with a zip top opening rather than a side access, then hang around because the Pro version of the Ibex might be the one for you. Now let's move on to the Ibex Pro, which builds on the foundations the Ibex pant has already established and adds a couple more features and just beefs up the trouser overall. The first thing to touch on is they're using the Exolite 250 fabric, so this is still a soft shell fabric with a double weave construction, which gives you a really durable, abrasion resistant fabric. It's got a lovely smooth outer finish, just like the Ibex we were just looking at, but it's just a slightly thicker and more durable fabric overall. It's still got a really good level of stretch, which means you're going to have good mobility in the trouser. It's not going to restrict any movement, which makes this a really good option for sort of spring and autumn scrambling, and potentially even into those winter months, depending on where you're located. This also offers a slight level of wind resistance as well, so it just keeps that breeze off your legs and keeps your legs a little bit warmer. And we're seeing a fluorocarbon-free DWR on the outside of these trousers as well. Now we'll just run through the features of the trouser because they are a little bit different to the Ibex, and you are getting a few additional features as well. Just like always, we're going to start at the top. The first thing you'll notice, we've got an external belt buckle system, so you can run your own belt on these if you so wish. But we also do have some Velcro adjustments on the side which allow us to bring the trouser in without the use of a belt. So if you want a slightly more secure hold, if you think the trouser will be a little bit big for you, or you're going to be doing stuff where you don't want the trousers sort of slipping at all during the day, then a proper belt is probably the way to go. But if you just want to make some micro adjustments, the trousers are fitting quite well, but you just want to cinch them in a little bit further, this just allows you to draw the fabric in and get a really nice, comfortable fit and tailor the fit to your body shape, which is really, really nice. Coming round to the front of the trouser, we're met by a metal button, which is a really nice addition. It's not going to break. There's very little chance of that coming undone when you're out on the hill. And then we've got a two-way fly system as well. You can use this for a bit of extra ventilation if you're getting really hot, because they are a slightly thicker trouser, but also just to access on the move. If we make our way around to the back of the trouser, we're seeing two rear YKK zip pockets, both with a storm flap. These are a great place to keep some things you want to keep close to hand but out of the way. A good example could be a wallet or an ID card. So there's one of those on each side of the trouser to keep those belongings in nice and safe. At the front of the trouser, we've got two standard hip pockets. These are not zip pockets, these are just sort of elasticated pockets, which are going to give you some storage for other essentials you might want to keep close by, like your mobile phone, potentially some snacks. But lower down the trouser, we have also got two really nice big dump pockets. These use a YKK main zip with a storm flap over the top to help keep any light rain out of the pocket. And in there you can keep your snacks, you can keep your map, that kind of thing. It's not big enough to take an OS map unless you fold it down a little bit smaller than normal. You could potentially have it poking out, but it might be a bit of a nuisance. Located directly behind that, if we just swivel the trouser around, is a well-positioned vent. So it's got a zip which sits at the bottom of the trouser when sealed. Open that up and we've got a really, really big thigh zip. This is going to allow you to circulate some nice cool air around the trouser. So if you're working hard, potentially even in cold conditions, if you're working hard and you want to sort of cool down a little bit, you can open this up to your preference, depending on how warm you're getting, and allow some air to circulate through the pant. It's a really big opening when open to its full potential, but you can obviously only do it halfway if you didn't want to circulate too much air around, or obviously can be completely closed if you so wish. There's one of those vents located on both legs, so you can use it independently of each other. Now we come to the knees, and that comes back to something we discussed with the Ibex, and that is that Mountain Equipment have got a new fit on the Ibex for 2025, and we're seeing a better sort of waist and upper fit, and also coming down across the thighs and into the knees. These are pre-articulated knees, so the knees are already bent in the trousers, which gives you the most mobility you can have from the trouser without any restrictions or feel like the trouser is pulling you in any way. And then we continue down the trouser and we're met by something that's very different to what we saw with the Ibex. The first thing is we've got a poppered adjustment point on the bottom here of the trouser, which is really nice. And then we've also got a lace hook as well to make sure that the trousers stay in place. On the inside of the cuff of the leg, we've also got a silicone rim around the inside of the leg, which means that the trousers are less likely to ride up. It gives you a bit of better friction against that and the top of your boot or piece of footwear you're wearing, and just stops that trouser riding up when you're working hard or doing something that's maybe a slightly more demanding bit of scrambling, that kind of thing. If that's not enough, you've also got that lace hook as well, so it's going to give you a bit of added security on that sense as well. And that is really it when it comes to the Ibex Pro. We're taking all the things that people know and love from the Ibex and we're putting it into a slightly more beefed up package with that 250 fabric, so that's 250 over 210, so just a slightly thicker fabric. And we're seeing some additional features like these big dump pockets on the front, our ability to use our own belt if we wish, and also the integrated system here, along with the added benefits at the bottom. This would be the perfect pant for those of you that are looking to use this potentially in 4-season environments, so going up from the 3-season capabilities of the Ibex pant, or potentially taking it to more demanding places where you need that extra durability and you want that extra sort of windproof and water resistance as well. So that was a quick look at the Ibex and Ibex Pro from Mountain Equipment. 2 awesome options that are perfect for multi-day trekking, climbing, hiking, and even some scrambling as well in a multitude of different environments and conditions. If you've got any questions about the Ibex or the Ibex Pro, please feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. And like always, if you could like and subscribe, it really does help us out. We'll see you next time.